Welcome to HopeSpoke's psychoeducation video series. My name is Cambria Byro, and I'm an outpatient therapist here at HopeSpoke. Today, I'll be talking about generational trauma. Generational trauma is exactly what it sounds like. Trauma that isn't just experienced by one person, but extends from one generation to the next. Clinical psychologist and parenting evaluator, Dr. Melanie English, states that generational trauma can be silent, covert, and undefined, surfacing through nuances and inadvertently taught or implied throughout someone's life from an early age onward. Generational trauma may begin with a traumatic event affecting an individual, traumatic events affecting multiple family members, or collective trauma affecting a larger community or population. Everyone is susceptible to generational trauma, but there are specific populations that are more vulnerable due to their histories. Dr. Gayani da Silva states that being systemically exploited, enduring repeated and continual abuse, racism, and poverty are all traumatic enough to cause genetic change. Dr. da Silva continues on, stating that African Americans in the United States and around the world are particularly vulnerable, and that the families affected by catastrophes, such as the 2004 tsunami in Asia, will have traumatic reactivity for generations to come. People in countries that have endured years or decades of war can develop generational trauma, as can victims of domestic violence, sexual assault or abuse, and hate crimes. The symptoms of generational trauma may include hypervigilance, a sense of a shortened future, mistrust, aloofness, high anxiety, depression, panic attacks, nightmares, insomnia, a sensitive fight or flight response, and issues with self-esteem and self-confidence. Experts are learning more and more about how trauma affects the immune system. Dr. Da Silva notes that trauma can potentially lead to a dysfunctional immune system, one that's either too active or not active enough. This can result in many autoimmune diseases or a propensity for illness. Trauma also influences the microglia, which are the innate immune cells in the central nervous system that make up the brain's immune system. When in a high trauma reactive state, the microglia eat away at nerve endings instead of producing growth and getting rid of damage. This causes the microglia to go haywire in the brain, which can potentially cause depression, anxiety, and even dementia. This can translate into genetic changes, which can be passed down to further generations. There are no easy answers when it comes to solving generational trauma. However, generational trauma can be processed in individual, family, or group therapy sessions. Dr. English states that knowing you aren't alone or helpless and knowing that there may have been factors outside of your control might help process the trauma. When we process things and understand them, we can then often find coping mechanisms. When we find coping mechanisms, we can heal, redefine ourselves, and reclaim a part of our life. If the trauma or abuse is ongoing, it is crucial to stop the cycle. This requires a large amount of encouragement, support, and systemic change. Dr. Da Silva states that support groups, financial support, housing support, healthcare, education, nutritional support, community resources, spiritual connections, and individual therapy will all need to be addressed for successful cessation of generational trauma. Generational trauma is a particularly heavy subject. Due to this, I would like to present a small mindfulness activity to bring us back to the present moment. This is called the walking meditation. You can start doing this meditation for 1 minute as you walk from one room to another, or from your home to your car. Later, you might expand walking meditations to include part of or all of a daily walk. This version of a walking meditation comes from the Buddhist mindfulness teacher Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Happiness: Essential Mindfulness Practices. As you begin walking, pay attention to each step. Notice how many steps you take during each inhale and exhale, and at the speed you're walking. Pay attention to your lungs and do not force your breathing or the number of steps you take. Match your steps to your breath. For example, as you breathe in, count 1, 2, 3 steps. As you breathe out, count 1, 2, 3 steps. Let your lungs and your feet come to a happy equilibrium. As you walk, you may wish to say a phrase that approximates the rhythm of your walking. Thich Nhat Hanh suggests, with each step, a gentle wind blows. Here at HopeSpoke, we provide a comprehensive array of services designed to meet the mental health needs of those we serve, including crisis and residential care, extended day treatment, outpatient programming, and school programs. For more information, please call 402-475-7666. And be sure to check back in with HopeSpoke's video series for more information and education. We will have a new topic for each installment, so be sure to keep an eye out for future videos. Thanks, and bye for now.